Now,
here we go.
What I want to do is, and I know everybody on the line knows who Dionne Warwick is, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you don't,
Yep.
if y'all don't, I'll say a little prayer for you.
Yeah. And everybody knows she has been doing music, and she has been a part of this music family for over 50 years now.
Absolutely.
In October, Dionne Warwick will be celebrating it with a CD entitled Dion Now, which will be available in October. And she was gracious enough to set up an interview, which we originally had on Monday, but some things took place and we actually couldn't do it. So I was basically going to wait. And I was just going to wait because she's Dionne Warwick. So whatever she needs, we'll make sure we work around it. So I got a phone call today from her, and she told me, you know what, I'm going to be flying overseas. Let's do it. And I'm like, well, we can't do it live, but, you know, we can figure something out. And she was like, you know what, showed you a lot of love. We need to make sure that we get this done. So with that being said, I was like, you know what, we can get this fixed. So we'll go ahead and do something to the effect of getting this out there for the public. Like I told you before, with her celebrating 50 years, and I said it to her in this interview, and I told her that I grew up listening to her. She's one of the best to do it. You know, you hear any of the songs that she's put out throughout the years, iconic figure, and she's one of the best people to be interviewed when it comes to knowing anything that is about music. So on that note, I'm going to run this 10 to 12-minute interview. Lock your ears in and just make sure you listen to her game, because she's talking about everything that we've talked about over the years as far as the state of music, you know, how she feels about it, stuff like that. So, of course, Dionne Warwick, the legend, right here on Branded After Dark. Do I have the great Miss Dionne Warwick on the line with me right now?
Oh, you have Dionne Warwick with you, yes.
Well, can I also include not just the great but legendary, the person that's moved me in so many different ways when it comes to just overall, not just your music, but everything that you embody and you represent. And I'm glad to be on the line with you right now. How are you, my queen?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for those wonderful compliments. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I appreciate you taking a moment of time to not just, you know, take my call and hang out with me, but also the listeners that's going to be listening to this across overseas, not just in the States, but everything that I want to try to do to bring out to the world is exactly what's going on. Now, you have your Dion Now project that's coming out in October. Let the listeners know a little bit about that.
Okay, it's a commemorative CD celebrating my 50 years in show business, and I felt that what better way to celebrate than with music, and especially music that people have grown to love over these 50 years. The songs that are on the CD were literally chosen by people randomly. I did a poll and stop people in the street and on buses and cars. I mean, it was amazing how these songs came about, and the songs represented on the CD are the ones that I had no idea people were that much in love with. But I'm thrilled about it, and it was a wonderful joy revisiting them and recording them.
When you talk about celebrating 50 years of doing music, and to me, I've always considered anything that you do musically, it's a gift from God, a gift that you give us as fans and media people and stuff like that. When you compare the time where you began to where it is now in 2012, what is it that you see that's different, and what do you see that's similarities compared to when you started?
Oh my goodness. Were we speaking about me personally, or
yeah, absolutely,
the music industry generally?
Just, you personally, and also industry-wise.
Well, for me, I hope that I've been keeping up to date with what's happening musically and kind of giving my versions of that so that people would still look at me as a current recording artist. With regards to the industry, it has changed so drastically that, it's nothing anywhere near the industry that I was a part of from the very beginning of my career.
Mm-hmm.
It's now more geared towards the youth, which is the youth that happen to be buying. And the music that's happening today is a little bit too young for my ears, let me put it that way.
Well, you know what, Ms. Warwick, I'm in my early mid-30s, and I can safely say that I have some problems with just some of the current state as far as what it is, just for the simple fact that I feel is not as authentic as when you started and the people before you and the people after you, of course. You know, my question to you is, when it comes to originality, you had that, because there could be there could be no one that will ever sound like Dionne Warwick. But when it comes to originality in general, do you feel like that's lacking in today's music genres? Not just one particular one, but just, a lot of the genres that's out nowadays.
Yeah, I really do. And unfortunately, I feel that because the companies and the way music is now being transmitted to people's ears is everything but humanly given. It's all computerized. All the record companies want everybody to sound like somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, our babies are now being made into clones. They have to look like, they have to sound like, they have to be like, they have to work like. It doesn't seem to be any individual input now. It's all kind of staged and programmed and marketed.
Is it more of a supply and demand? So us as radio DJs and media people and the fans that's listening, is it more of the only way we can correct the lack of originality is to call it like we see it and to not support it? Or is it something that can be done differently than how it is now to be able to change that scope?
Well, I think that it would be unfair for me to say that, you can just stop playing the music. That's a silly statement to even try to think of making.
Right.
So I think if we, and I say we, I'm talking about myself as my peers, are encouraged by radio stations to continue to record and know that in their insistence upon us continuing to record, they're going to play our music,
mm-hmm.
then it gives reason to think that maybe we'll be heading back towards what I knew.
And I think that's important because, I look at music a little different than I guess most people, or similar to some people, I guess, because I look at it more of not just because of how a beat sounds and if you can be able to dance to it. I want to know and I want to feel where you're coming
mm-hmm.
from when I actually hear you sing, and I want to be able to visualize exactly the everything that you're talking about or singing about, actually. And to me, I think even songwriting kind of, to a degree, kind of has a storytelling. So when you write your songs, or when someone presents you with an opportunity to okay, I want you to sing this song that I wrote, what do you take yourself to be able to hear? Do you want to tell that good story, or how do you approach it when you actually start doing what you do?
Well, I must say, I have to admit that I'm pretty spoiled, because everything that I've recorded over these past 50 years have been basically written specifically for me.
Right.
So I don't have to really dig that deep in looking for product. Whenever I'm working with a producer, if he happens to also be a composer, I don't have any problems with the selection of songs. But if not, then songs are presented to me, and I look for a meaningful lyric, and of course a memorable melody.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's left up to me to interpret what I'm seeing and reading and singing.
Dionne Warwick is my guest here, and a couple of quick questions before I let you go. One question that I do have is, when it comes down to your current project and it's coming out in October, what's the lasting memory that you want to leave, not just your diehard fans, but also the new fans that might jump onto this project? What is the one message that you're trying to send with this? Of course, celebrating your 50 years, but what else in general that you can be able to tackle on to some of the new people that's coming on?
Well, I certainly hope that this CD will give exposure to younger ears, because we did bring every one of the songs into the 21st century, which gives them an opportunity to not only enjoy what they're hearing, but also be exposed to some most incredible songs written by Hal David and Burt Bacharach. I don't think it can get any better.
You also have a song on there with your son too, correct?
That's correct. We did I Say Hello Prayer as a duet, and David has been performing with me over the past 70 years now, and he's been opening my shows. You know, it's a joy. This CD has brought me so much pleasure based on the fact that I also had an opportunity to work with my younger son, who recorded my vocals and also mixed the CD for your listening pleasure. So both of my babies are represented, which is a wonderful feeling.
That is very good. And you know what? I got to tell you before I let you go that you're one of my music heroes. I hope you know that, right?
Oh, thank you.
Just for the simple fact that I have listened to you as far as I can remember listening to you, and it's an honor. I mean, to me, I take what you do, and I said it earlier, as a God-given gift that you give to us. Like, you could have kept it to yourself, but it's one of those things where I just really feel like you have blessed not just me, but so many others that has listened to you over the years tremendously for a lot of motivational purposes. Because I can get in and I can listen to a Dionne Warwick track and I can get motivated and inspired to do something a little bit better. I could always be motivated, but I don't know. Listening to your
that's a wonderful thing to say to me, and I appreciate it. Well, you know, that is the purpose. We in the industry who happen to sing are known as the messengers, and hopefully all the messages that I've been able to impart musically have played an emotional part on people's lives. You know, I say frequently in my case, to be a part of the smile times in people's lives is quite something. In fact, it's something that cannot even be expressed or explained. But it's just a privilege to be able to bring a message of solidarity, of love, of hope, happiness to people's ears, and hopefully it inspires them to do just those things.
And Dion Now is the project that will be dropping in October, and I want to thank you for taking a few minutes to hang out with me. And believe me, when it comes to the station, what I'm trying to do, and I'll be celebrating 5 years of being on the air in October as well. I want to
congratulations.
Thank you, and I want to make sure that I give as much effort as you have for 50 years. So I want to do this 50 years from now and still have the kind of passion that I do have, just like you have the passion that you have about your God-given talent. So I appreciate you for life, sweetheart. Just keep doing what you do, and bless you big time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, darling, and bless you too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.